This is Orlandito del Valle representing, and you already know you are watching Dante Boxing Nation.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So trainer Freddie Roach has been showing an interest lately in having his fighter Pacquiao face Canelo Alvarez, but it has to be at 150 according to Freddie Roach, which it makes all the sense in the world because Manny Pacquiao is a very small welterweight, just like Floyd Mayweather is. I think 150 is a perfect catch weight for Pacquiao to face Canelo. But the problem is, or the question is, can Canelo get down to 150? Because Canelo, quite frankly, can't, it seems like right now he can't even get down to 154. Or maybe it's not he can't get to 154. He chose not to go down to 154 to fight against Erislandy Lara. But when Canelo Alvarez was calling out Juan Marquez because he was so upset that Marquez had the nerve to criticize him and call him overrated, Canelo, he became so upset that he said he would move all the way down to 147 just to fight Juan Marquez. Okay? So the point that I'm making is it doesn't seem like it's that much of a stretch for Canelo to move down to 150. With Canelo Alvarez damn near being 5'7.5" or 5'8", I don't think it would be that difficult for him to once again make 150. Not only that, but if you take in consideration that once these fighters weigh in, they're able to rehydrate back to their weight that they normally walk around at. Now, some people will use the De La Hoya versus Pacquiao fight as an example of why you're not supposed to, come down in weight or come down too low. That's the excuse that people give De La Hoya for losing against Manny Pacquiao. I'm going to tell you guys something that may put me in a minority, but I'll tell you right now, I don't believe Pacquiao beating De La Hoya had anything to do with De La Hoya being drained. I give full credit for Manny Pacquiao putting on that excellent performance against Oscar De La Hoya. I don't believe the drain excuse at all, and I'll tell you why. For starters, a lot of fans don't know this, or maybe they just don't recall, but going into that fight, Pacquiao versus Oscar De La Hoya, do you guys know that Oscar De La Hoya was a massive favorite to win that fight? He was a massive favorite to win that fight, okay? The fact that all of a sudden De La Hoya could go from this huge favorite to winning this fight to all of a sudden now once Manny Pacquiao beats him, people are saying, oh, Oscar, he was drained and he was this and he was that. It sounds ludicrous to me. It basically sounds like they were so sure that Oscar De La Hoya was going to win that fight that once he lost the fight and lost easy, there had to be some excuse because he was supposed to win this fight easy by default. That was the assumption, right? But let's just think about this for a second. First of all, Oscar De La Hoya is not the first fighter to go back down to a lower weight class. There's been a lot of fighters that have done it and have been successful. Shane Mosley comes to mind when I think about him. He was fighting at 154. Shane Mosley was fighting at 154 for a minute. Then he came back down to welterweight around the same time Oscar De La Hoya came down to welterweight. And Shane Mosley actually ended up beating the best welterweight at the time, which was Margarito. So it had nothing to do with being drained. That was just an excuse. If anything, Oscar De La Hoya was psychologically drained. You have to think about it, guys. There was a lot of pressure on Oscar to go in there and beat this guy easy because he was, like I said, a massive favorite. I think Oscar De La Hoya throughout the whole fight, once he felt Manny Pacquiao's power, once he seen his speed, once he started to get frustrated with Manny Pacquiao's movement and boxing ability, I think this frustrated Oscar De La Hoya. And I think Oscar said to himself, I cannot get knocked out by this little guy. Because if I get knocked out by this little guy that I was supposed to be easy, I'm going to look like a damn joke. So that put Oscar De La Hoya on the defensive. And that's the reason why Oscar fought such a defensive fight against Manny Pacquiao. Because Oscar was trying to preserve his reputation. I mean, just think about it, guys. If Oscar would have been in the ring that night instead of Manny Pacquiao, if he would have been in the ring with, let's say, the Alvarado who just lost to Marquez, or if he was in the ring with Ricardo Mayorga, or if he was in the ring with anybody like that, Oscar De La Hoya, he would have won that fight easy. And there would have been no he was drained excuses, okay? The drained excuse was only for a Manny Pacquiao type of opponent. This is the reason why Oscar De La Hoya, he never said anything about being drained in the post-fight interview, because he just basically got outboxed by a guy that he did not expect to be as good as he was at the time. Okay, so the point that I'm making is, going back to Canelo, I don't think that him coming down to 150 would be that big of a deal. It won't be a deal breaker, I don't believe. This will be a great fight for Manny Pacquiao and Canelo's career, especially if Manny Pacquiao was able to win the fight. Now, that would be a very difficult task, but let's just say hypothetically he was able to win the fight, then that would give him a little bit more of an edge when it comes to negotiating with someone like a Floyd Mayweather. All right, not to suggest that he would get the bigger slice of the pie, but he would most likely be able to ask for a lot more money if Manny Pacquiao were to go in there and beat someone like Canelo Alvarez, especially if he did it decisively and it wasn't like a struggle. Because of the combination of attributes and flaws, it makes for a very intriguing fight between both of these fighters. Manny Pacquiao, we know he has a fantastic left hand, a lot of speed, angles, can move around the ring, but he has no inside game and he lacks defense. Okay, he doesn't really adjust very well. Canelo Alvarez has all the power in the world. He has a little slickness to him. He could box a little bit, but he doesn't really have any foot movement, and he has stamina issues. Okay, so like I said, this makes for a very interesting fight. Now, fortunately for Manny Pacquiao, because of the double standards that exist in the sport, he probably won't be criticized as much as Floyd Mayweather was when he fought Canelo Alvarez at a catchweight. We'll just have to see what happens. But anyway, Freddie Roach is on board. He likes this fight. He wants to make the fight. Bob Arum wants to make the fight. Oscar De La Hoya wants to make the fight. So if Manny Pacquiao continues to win, then we will most likely see this fight. But it is a little premature because we don't know who Manny Pacquiao is going to have to fight next. If he's fighting against Ruslan, you know what? It doesn't matter who he's fighting against. If he's fighting against Ruslan Provodnikov or Amir Khan, I've already told you guys, those are very difficult fights, both for Manny Pacquiao. I know a lot of people, when it comes to Amir Khan, a lot of people are saying, oh, well, Amir Khan, he doesn't have a chin and this and that and all that kind of stuff. But one thing you have to understand, with a guy not having a chin, you have to be able to touch that chin, okay? Vladimir Klitschko doesn't have a chin, but he's been able to hold the heavyweight title for damn near a decade because no one can reach that chin, all right? So, you know, there's no guarantee. Just because you're fighting a guy with no chin, there's no guarantee you're going to win, okay? Collazo, he has an excellent chin, and he was in the ring with Amir Khan, and Collazo could not reach Amir Khan's chin. And not only that, but Amir Khan, he does very well against southpaws. We've seen, you know, his fight against Zab Judah was probably his most impressive performance to date. All right, so, you know, just some things to look at. So I'm looking forward to seeing who Manny Pacquiao chooses as his next opponent. And I really look forward to seeing him possibly get in the ring with Canelo Alvarez, because then we can definitely, you know, do a contrast between Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather when it comes to facing the same opponent. Okay, so that's pretty much all I got on this one, guys. I'm on to the next one.